You could show up on a first date looking good, appear to have your life together, have good moral values and everything. But the problem is, most guys, they appear to be this guy, but then when they're actually tested by the girl they're with to see if they're that guy, they fail. Now, just to be clear, when I say that women are going to test you, what exactly do I mean by this? Because some people will misinterpret this. They'll hear me say this and they'll say, oh, he's saying that, women are manipulating and they're sitting here and overthinking things and it's like, no, okay? Women aren't sitting here going, oh yeah, I'm gonna, wait long to reply to his message, or I'm gonna show up late to our date to see if he's gonna react and to test him. No, this all happens on a subconscious level. And the reason why women test at that subconscious level is because they want to see if you're actually the man that you say they are, right? Because for a girl, it's a dangerous thing if you say that you're this, hardworking, disciplined, emotionally centered guy, but then when you actually get tested, you aren't that guy. So it's by no means a bad thing. Like, it's just the way that it is. And if I were to have a daughter one day, I would want her to do the same thing to make sure that she's making a good, safe, smart decision with the guy that she's with. So in this video, we're gonna go over these tests that women use and how you can pass them. And it's not necessarily about passing tests. Like, I know that sounds like super official. It's really about just being a self-centered, ambitious, emotionally strong guy. That's what it all comes down to. So number one is what I call the disqualification test, okay? What this looks like is, let's say you're out on a date with a girl, or you go and approach her at a bar, right? That's probably a better analogy. And maybe you've been talking to her for a little bit, and she goes, oh, you're too short for me. Oh yeah, you're not really my type. When she says this, you cannot look at her words, okay? You have to look at her actions. Like, if she's already out on a date with you, or she's already been talking to you, showing some interest, and all of a sudden she says, oh yeah, I'm not into a guy like you, you're not my type, you're too short. Well, look at her actions, okay? She's on a date with you. She's been flirting with you, okay? So her saying this, what she's really doing is she's testing to see how secure are you in yourself, right? When she says, oh, you aren't my type, you aren't the guy I'm into, do you go, oh, well, actually, I think I am, and this is why? The best thing you can do in this situation is just laugh back at her. Just look at her and go, well, hey, sweetheart, you're still out on a date with me. Like, you're still with me, so, that's what it is. Now, the second test is what I call the leadership test. What this looks like is you're out on a date with a girl, or you're talking to her, and she goes, hey, what would you want to go do for our next date? Oh, what do you want to get for dinner? Where a lot of guys will go wrong is they have absolutely no ability to lead whatsoever, right? Because women, they're looking for a man who can lead, who has that masculine energy, because it allows her to be more feminine, to be in her natural energy. And when she asks you, what do you want to go do? What do you want to eat? And you go, oh, I don't know, honey. Well, why don't you pick? Well, why don't you make a choice? It's like, that nothing will make a girl less attracted to you, right? She's gonna be saying like, okay, this guy has no ability to lead, no ability to do anything, right? And if you can't lead a relationship, how can you be a leader of your own life? Like, it all starts with that. So when a girl asks for your opinion on something, or she asks you to do something, you gotta take the lead, right? And some guys might say, oh, but what if she doesn't agree with what I do, right? What if I plan a date and she doesn't want to go do it? But at the end of the day, like, the worst thing you can do is just not have the ability to lead as a man. So just know that whenever a girl asks you to take the lead, she asks for your opinion, she asks what you want to go do, what she's really doing is she's looking to see, are you that guy who actually can lead effectively and that I can follow? Now, the third test is what I call the cancellation test. Okay, what this looks like is you have a date planned with a girl. You're getting all excited. You're getting ready to go. Like, oh yeah, I can't wait for this date. But then you get that dreaded text that, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it tonight. The worst thing you can do in this situation is get offended, is say, oh, but we have these plans and this is disrespectful and I don't like this. Because all you're gonna do is just show that you care about it way more than she does, and you're letting her emotional state shift yours, which just shows that you're not very masculine. So the best thing you can do when a girl cancels a date is look at her actions afterwards, right? If she cancels a date, but it's for a good reason, like maybe she had something come up, or she had a test, or she has something going on, but she offers to reschedule, that's totally fine, right? You gotta understand that sometimes life happens. Sometimes stuff comes up, and it's not always personal when a girl cancels a date on you. But if you take it personally, then that's the worst thing that you can do. Now, what I will say about this is if a girl is canceling on your dates all the time, or she is showing up late all the time, okay, fair enough. Like, that is disrespectful. Like, for me personally, if a girl cancels a date once, she gives a good reason to reschedule, she says, okay, like, this is why I can't do tonight, but let's do this night instead. Totally cool. Like, no problem whatsoever. But if I'm talking to a girl and she cancels a date once, then we reschedule it and she cancels again, like, you're probably better off just moving on at that point, because she's showing that you're just not really a priority to her. So that's the nuance with that, right? You got to realize when she cancels a date, if it's the first time, no problem whatsoever. Also look at her effort. If she makes an effort to reschedule, that's a great thing, and you can keep the interaction moving forward. But if she keeps giving excuses, she keeps canceling your dates, then she probably just doesn't really value you that much. Now, the fourth test is what I call the agreeability test, all right? Now, what I mean by this is a girl says that she disagrees with you on something, right? She says, oh, I don't really agree with that. I don't really like that you have that opinion. The worst thing you can do is say, oh my God, yeah, you're right, and I'm wrong. Why? Because that shows that you don't stand for anything. That shows that you don't have the balls to like even say when you can back your own opinion, right? And if you can't back your own opinion, if you can't believe in yourself, how can she trust you to back her? How can she trust you to be there for her when you can't even stand for yourself? So I'm just gonna actually tell you a quick story to kind of explain this one for you guys. So a while back, I was out on a date with this one girl, and she brought up politics on the first date, which first of all, like that's just super cringe and weird. Like, why are we talking about politics on the first date? And it was also an election year, so like it was a big topic at the time. And she asked for my opinion on something. I'm not gonna say it because it doesn't really matter for the context of the video, but she asked for my opinion on a political matter, and I told her my honest take, and I was upfront with her. And she went, oh my God, I could never date a guy who thinks that. I can never go out with a guy who has that opinion. And guess what I did? I said, oh my God, yeah, you're so right. Yeah, I'm wrong. Like, I am bad for thinking that. And I was thinking that, oh yeah, if I changed my mind and showed her how much I cared and how much I understand, then she would like me more. Do you think I ever saw that girl again? No. Why? Because when you can't even stand for what you believe in, it shows that you have no respect for yourself. You have no backbone whatsoever. And she can just walk all over you, okay? That's not the type of man that she wants to be with. She wants to be with a man who stands for what he believes in, who has a backbone. And guess what? If you disagree, you're not disrespectful about it. You don't be rude to her for what she thinks. And maybe if you guys disagree and you guys can't agree on something, then the relationship just isn't really meant to be, right? Because you want to be with somebody who has similar values. But the worst thing you can do is agree with a girl just to get her to please you. Because funny enough, when you try to please her, it only just pushes her away. All right, now we're moving into the more relationship side of things. All right, number 5 is what I call the boundary test. When you get into a relationship, one of the most important things is that you set healthy boundaries, okay? You state in the very beginning what you're expecting out of a relationship. Some examples could be, we don't argue with each other. I'm not gonna text other girls, so I don't want you texting other guys. If I go out with my friends and we go out and do something, I'm gonna text you back in a timely manner. I'm not going to ghost you. Whatever it is, you have to have your own personal boundaries for a relationship. Now, what may happen at some point is these boundaries may be tested, and it's not always intentional, right? I'm not saying that she's trying to deceive you or anything, right? But for example, let's say you set a boundary that you're not going to argue in a relationship, that you're not going to, be petty with each other. And maybe she comes home from work one day and she gets mad because like you haven't taken out the trash or some stupid like that, right? And she starts going, oh my God, like this is so unacceptable. You don't show that you care about me, and I'm so pissed. I'm angry at you. When you are in this situation, you have to make your boundaries clear, okay? You say, hey, in our relationship, okay, we set the standard that we're not going to argue with one another, okay? We're not going to point fingers. We're not going to blame. Now, if we want to have a constructive conversation, if we want to, talk this over in a calm manner, that's totally fine. But what we're not going to do is argue. We're not going to get mad at each other. Me personally, in my relationships, this is a huge one. If anybody is ever compromising my emotional state, right, like coming home and getting angry all the time or getting pissed off, right? Or just in a bad mental state all the time, that's not somebody who I'm going to surround myself with. Why? Because I really strongly value being in a positive mindset, being with somebody who sees the light in things. Now, that doesn't mean everything will always be perfect. You're going to have disagreements. And if a girl tells you, I don't like that you did this, there's nothing wrong with her saying that. She's just communicating how she feels. But what I'm saying is it's how she communicates it that matters. It's how she goes about talking about this. So with whatever boundary you have in your relationships, it's just really important that when they are tested, you actually stand for them, right? If a girl is always crossing your boundaries, but you don't say anything because you're scared you might lose her, the only thing that's going to happen is she's going to leave you because you don't stand for what you believe in. You're not actually a man of your word, right? You say these are my boundaries. You say this is what I want to set for a relationship. But when you're actually tested, you don't actually follow through on it. So when your boundaries get crossed, you have to say something about it. And not in a rude way. You don't go, you don't get angry at her. You don't get mad at her. But you say, hey, like, this kind of crossed my boundary. This is something that I don't really appreciate. And if we're going to have a healthy relationship, okay, we can't be doing this with one another. We have to come at things with a positive mindset. So that's how you handle those situations. Now, number 6 is what I call the comfort test. And this is probably the most important one of them all. The one that gets the most guys tripped up, and it's definitely tripped me up more than any one of the other ones. Relationships are a beautiful thing. They are amazing. But the one downside to relationships that you see so often is a guy, before he gets with a girl, he'll be working on himself. He'll be building himself. He's in good shape. He's taking care of himself. He's living his best life. Then all of a sudden, he gets the girl, and what happens? He gets complacent. He starts sleeping in a bit more often. He starts staying up late, watching more movies and eating more snacks. He starts skipping the gym because he wants to stay in and cuddle with his girl. And these decisions, they may seem small in the moment, right? Like, oh yeah, what's one skipped workout? What's one more bag of chips? I'm just gonna enjoy myself, man, and I'm just gonna have a good time. But the problem is, all of these little micro decisions, what do? They add up, right? All of a sudden, those 30 bags of chips that you decided to eat over the course of a few months, those 15 workouts that you skipped over the course of 6 months, they add up, right? And you're no longer the man that you were at the start. And this is a lesson that I've had to learn the hard way, right? I've been through this, and I've talked about it multiple times, so I'm not gonna go in depth on the story in this video, but if you've watched my videos, I've been through this mistake before. So what you have to always do is you have to realize there may be moments where a relationship is gonna want to make you comfortable, right? Your girl's gonna say, oh yeah, you don't have to go hit the gym today, you already look good, like just stay in and cuddle with me some more. But I'm telling you, the more you say yes to this, the more you say yes to comfort, and the more that you push off your purpose and your goals, the more you're gonna lose yourself, right? And you may think that you're pleasing her, you're making her happy, but really 6 months down the road, when you make these decisions all the time, she's gonna look at you and say, okay, this guy is no longer the man I was attracted to in the first place. And she's gonna leave your ass, right? That's what's gonna happen. Now, when I say this, am I saying you can never have some fun? Okay, you can never go eat a fucking bowl of ice cream. You can't ever take your girl out on a date. You can't sit in and cuddle with your girlfriend. No, I'm not saying that, right? Of course, you should enjoy your relationship and you should be loving. You should have some fun. That's a great part of relationships. But you cannot ever sacrifice your own goals, okay? Sacrifice your own purpose, because at the end of the day, that is the number one thing you have as a man. That is the most important thing in the world to you, right? And bro, just realize that you're gonna slip up at times, okay? It's just a human nature to get complacent, to get comfortable, right? But realize when you're in this moment, when you're slipping up, when you're letting this happen, and get out of it, right? Say, shit, I've been slipping up lately. I haven't been focused on the right things. I have to get back on the right track. And as long as you do that, as long as you realize when you're slipping up and you get back on the right track, you'll be completely fine. But just don't allow yourself to fall into that mode of complacency and comfort. But anyways, bro, the key to overcoming any of these tests that we talked about, all the stuff that we've talked about, is just stay centered, be your best self, Know what you're going for. Don't let anybody compromise what you have, and believe in yourself. And yeah, I'll see you for the next video, bro.